Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, or as John Campea has called me, your existential Mr. Rogers, Robert Meyer Burnett, and this is a mailbag for July 20th, 2022. This is the 53rd anniversary of man landing on the moon. No jokes about sound stages now. Come on. As you know, the John Campea Show mailbag, if you don't watch the show live and want to send us in a question or a comment or a review or just tell us what you're thinking today, you can do that at the link down below. For those of you who watch the John Campea Show live, you do know that we open up the super chats, but we only take enough that we can answer on that show. But we leave our operators open 24/7. We have an army of people waiting to hear from you so we can read them on the mailbag today or any other day. Let's begin, shall we? Royale of the House of L. Royale says, did Harrison Ford forget that they did a young Indiana Jones TV show back in the day? Plus, if Chris Pratt were to do Indiana Jones, it's not like they're going to do remakes of all the other movies. They would be all brand new stories. Chill out, Harrison. Well, Royale, you bring up a good point. I mean, Sean Patrick Flannery played young Indiana Jones. River Phoenix played Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade. And then you had that old guy playing, I forget his name, and then that young kid. They sort of banished his episodes of young Indiana Jones from the collective unconscious. So you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And lots of actors have taken on roles. We've had how many Batmen, how many Supermen, how many James Bonds, how many Draculas, how many Sherlock Holmes throughout cinematic history. So you're not wrong, and I think Chris Pratt actually is probably it's a great choice to do Indiana Jones. The real question is this: should we do any Indiana Jones movies? Can you make them good again? I'd say you could, sure. I mean, as we all say here all the time, give us great characters and a great story. And I think you can do just about anything. I wonder, I mean, I liked the last Tomb Raider movie. I thought it was pretty good. Should they have not done more Tomb Raider movies if Angelina Jolie wasn't going to do them? Obviously not. So maybe they could. I think Harrison Ford, one, I don't think he does know they did a young Indiana Jones Chronicles. And two, I think, like anyone, you don't want someone to take over your signature role. So, you're right. Chill out, Harrison. Ellis says, thoughts on this cast for Fantastic Four? John Krasinski, Reed Richards, Emily Blunt, Sue Storm, Channing Tatum, Johnny Storm, Jason Segel, Ben Grimm. Ooh, I like that. Ryan Gosling, the Silver Surfer, Javier Bardem, Victor Von Doom, and James Earl Jones, Galactus. Well, Ellis, that's a fine cast. I mean, I wouldn't argue with that. I don't know about James Earl Jones playing Galactus. I mean, he was already Thulsa Doom in Conan, and of course, he's the voice of Vader. I mean, that could be kind of cool. And Mufasa, he's great, but to play someone like Galactus, I don't know, it could be good. I wouldn't mind that. Why not? But that's a great cast. I actually really like this cast for your Fantastic Four movie. Who knows? Maybe it will happen. Although, I doubt it. Eric G. says, hey, John and Rob, I love you guys. Thank you very much. It's very nice to hear that. Quick question. I've never met anyone else that's seen this movie, Warriors of Virtue. It came out in 1997, and it's about ninja kangaroos. Ever heard of it? I thought it was awesome as a kid. Laugh out loud. Bring on the filthy. Well, listen, Eric G., I have to admit my ignorance of these movies, Warriors of Virtue. But as you know, as I was tweeting about even this morning, there is nothing in the world that cannot be made better with the proper application of ninjas. Anything with ninjas in it is made that much better. With only one exception. In the entire history of entertainment, the only time ninjas failed was in Star Trek Picard, when they added Romulan ninjas. Elnor was a Romulan ninja. It didn't work. But that is the only caveat. Ninja kangaroos, I mean, already kangaroo movies are my jam, but you make kangaroos into ninjas, all I can think of is cinematic nirvana. And while I haven't seen Warriors of Virtue, knowing that there's ninja kangaroos puts it right on the top of my must-see list. So kudos for you to have that kind of a childhood where you had ninja kangaroos. I mean, if I was a kid and had ninja kangaroos, I might be a better man than I am today, which, might not be too hard, but ninja kangaroos could have forged me into that guy. So I'm happy for you, dude. Happy for you. I need to see this movie now. Super Showgirl 01 says, without fail, every day I watch the John Campea Show during my morning breakie. Breakie, does that mean you live in Australia or the UK? Thank you so much for being the strength that makes me love fandom against the negative social media that nearly killed my interest. Thank you, John, Rob, Chris, Ray, Aaron. Oh, greetings from Australia. I was correct. Well, Super Showgirl 01, as long as we can be there to instill faith in fandom, bolster your spirits, and as you might know, I spent a year living in Australia, working on Superman Returns, and Australia is one of the greatest places I've ever been. Whether I was in Tamworth for 3 weeks, or whether I'm in Sydney or Melbourne or the Gold Coast, my God, do I love Australia. And by the way, Showgirl 1, there's a lot of great showgirls in Australia, if you know what I'm saying. So congratulations to be there and to be one. Showgirl, you're apparently the first Showgirl 1. So is that a superhero? I don't know. You're a superhero to me. So thank you for that. And one day I want to get back to Australia because, man, do I love it. Brian O'Neill Singleton sends in a tip and says, hello, John and Campionites. I like that, Campionites. I watched the fan edit of Obi-Wan and enjoyed it. My question is, will this open the floodgates of fans editing IP to change the studio's vision to better suit their own? And will studios clamp down? There can be only bring on the filthy. Well, that's, Brian, that's actually a really interesting question that you pose. There has been a lot of fan edits over the years. I think one of the first that that really kicked it off was the Phantom editor redoing the Phantom Menace back in the day. And I thought it was actually very, very good. And I think after that, I've seen fan edits of Superman Returns. I've seen fan edits of Peter Jackson's King Kong. There's been a lot. I saw when I was working on Superman Returns, some dude in Perth sent me a copy of his fan edit of Never Say Never Again, the James Bond movie, which I still have on DVD somewhere, where he replaced all of Michel Legrand's score with music like John Barry and David Arnold's music from previous Bond films. So look, obviously it's highly illegal, but I think what's interesting is the effort that some fans make, especially with this new Obi-Wan Kenobi cut. They do a great job because, fan edits to me are born out of love. Editing is too hard and it's a pain in the ass. People have even sent fan edits of Star Trek V to me. I think it shows a level of dedication. It's also a great way, if you want to become an editor, it's an interesting way to have something to edit, to hone your craft that you're passionate about. But make no mistake, total violation of copyright law, of IP law, whatever you want to call it. So it's never going to be an acceptable practice. But as far as fans go, I'm surprised at how far and wide this Obi-Wan Kenobi fan edit has penetrated. And it shows, I've watched it twice. I thought it was really good. And, we always wonder why didn't it get made like this? Well, one never knows. But thanks for that question. Garrett says, hello, John and or Rob. Have you guys heard or seen the newer Netflix anime series Bastard? You're the second person to ask me this. The subtitle is Heavy Metal, Dark Fantasy. Sounds like it's right up Rob's alley. Yes. P.S. A new title for Rob, The Maestro of Mystery. Am I mysterious? First of all, Garrett, I was told that this anime, this Bastard, was a throwback to like 80s animation, which I think could be totally badass. So I got to look into it. Because when, one person mentioning something to me, I kind of file it away. But when more people, you hear it 2 or 3 or 4 more times, it makes me want to like dip my toe in. That's what I did with Arcane. I mean, I heard a lot about Arcane and finally went in and watched it. I'm like, wow, this is really, really great. So I will definitely, Bastard is definitely on my it's on my mind. It's in my wheelhouse. So thank you very much for that. You know what else is in my wheelhouse? It's something that should be in your wheelhouse. If you make videos or you're a content creator, our sponsor of today's video can help you out with all kinds of little pieces of video and images that you could use to make your work even better. Take it up to that next professional level. They are the people from Storyblocks.
We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of today's video, Storyblocks. Guys, I have been an enthusiastic fan and user of Storyblocks for years. I go to them whenever I'm in need of content creation assets like royalty-free music, video clips, or templates for my creative projects, ranging anywhere from little editorial videos to my very own full-feature documentary. Storyblocks helps you bring your stories, videos, and projects to life without sacrifices due to time, budget, or access to resources. They have over 1 million different story assets ranging from stock videos, audio and music, an in-browser video editor, and they feature pre-designed templates, animations, and outros. Storyblocks uses an affordable subscription model, and their unlimited access plans offers, unlimited video and audio downloads rather than a costly pay-per-clip model. With Storyblocks, you'll be able to create more content and, more importantly, better content, all while using a subscription plan that fits your budget, utilizing unlimited downloads of demand-driven and diverse content. So if you're interested in upping your content creation game, head over to www.storyblocks.com/Campea and get started today. That's www.storyblocks.com/Campea.
And a special thank you to Storyblocks for sponsoring this episode of the Mailbag. Anonymous says, hello, Rob and John. I am a big fan of your show. Recently, I have watched RRR, an Indian movie cast including Race Stevenson and Alison Doody, and this movie was liked by many Hollywood stars, James Gunn, Scott Derrickson, etc. What are your thoughts on this? Well, first of all, yes, we have talked about RRR, which I don't want to... RRR, the movie's not titled RRR, stands for something. And you need to watch it because you need to understand what it stands for. That's part of the joy of the film. And of course, Alison Doody was the woman who played the Nazi that both Indiana Jones and his father Henry Jones shared, well, not at the same time, in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. This is a fantastic film. It's not a Bollywood movie, it's a Tollywood movie, but it does come from that part of the world. It is absolutely an amazing piece of period action adventure. It's incredible. I love this movie. It is on Netflix now. Unfortunately, I think it's in hit. I like to watch movies subtitled. I don't like to watch movies dubbed, except one, Shogun Assassin, and maybe the animated film Fantastic Planet. But this film, it's not on Netflix in its original language. It's in Hindi, but it will not hamper your enjoyment that much. This film's incredible. You should watch it. You'll all love it. Talk about a testosterone-drenched just romp. This movie it has everything. And I guarantee you, if you watch it, you will love it. It'll probably go right up there as one of your favorite films of the year. So watch RRR. Tell them I sent you. Actually, you can't tell them that. There's nobody to tell. But if there was, please watch it. Donnie Freeman says, hey guys, I'm halfway through the first viewing of Breaking Bad. It's great, but Jesse, I have issues with. Well, Jesse's got issues. To me, he's been irrelevant and annoying to the show's story. Without spoilers, is there something I'm missing in the big picture of the story? Thanks. Well, I have to say this. When I sat down and watched Breaking Bad all the way through, I'd only seen some of the first season. Then I kind of dropped off because I was busy, couldn't watch it. And then I bought the whole show on Blu-ray. It came in the miniature 50-gallon drum. And I was right where you are about. I thought Jesse was annoying as AF. Like, why is he in the show? What's the deal here? But you realize that he becomes, well, I don't want to get into it because I don't want to ruin it for you, but he becomes very relevant, even more relevant. His relationship with Walter White, his developing relationship with Walter White, becomes sort of the backbone of the latter half of the season, of season one. I mean, season one for sure, of the show, of the whole show itself. So I really think he is a very important character, and I think by the end of the series, you'll think differently. I think you're supposed to think he's annoying right now, and he does a lot of stupid shit. So I'm right there with you. But just wait and report back. Marcus C., one of two. Hey, Rob, I've come seeking your advice. Uh-oh. I always get nervous, but I charge for that. I charge 95 cents like Lucy Van Pelt in Peanuts episodes. I actually have a little wood thing I put out on the side of the road. Psychiatric advice, 95 cents. Marcus C. says, hey, Rob, I've come seeking your advice. Currently, I'm majoring in PT. PT. What is PT? Psychology or something? I like it, but I don't love it. I'm going into my second year of college, and I'm passionate about film and storytelling, but I'm anxious about whether or not to go into that field. Well, I'm not sure what PT is. Is that one of two? Marcus C. No. Okay, Marcus C. That's all we got. So I understand what you're saying. First of all, here's what I would say to you about filmmaking. I had general education, but I did go to USC to major in filmmaking. Here's the problem with majoring in filmmaking. You need something to make films about. And I think a great general education or a specialization in some other, like for instance, the great George Miller, who made Mad Max, Road Warrior, Beyond Thunderdome, Lorenzo's Oil. He produced the Happy Feet movies, and he, of course, made Fury Road. He was an actual doctor, a real doctor. That informed Lorenzo's Oil, which is a great movie. But, before he became a filmmaker, he was a doctor. James Cameron was a truck driver before he got into film. So they had more of an education. They had a life that they had led outside of filmmaking that allowed them to become the filmmakers that they are. Now, I would say this. If you are dissatisfied in your current area of study in college, find something that you do like. Follow your bliss. But at the same time, if you want to become educated in film, you could do that. But I would say filmmakers, you know what filmmakers do? They make films. When I was a little kid, I was making Super 8 movies, shooting them on film, editing them on I had a little editor. So I think study filmmaking if that's what you're passionate about, but at the same time, live a little. Go experience the world. Travel. The thing I most regret in my life, if someone said, do I have regrets? I don't have many, is I didn't travel when I was younger. I didn't get out of the United States. I didn't get out of the continental United States. I've been to Canada and Mexico until I'd made my first movie where I went to Spain. Now I've been all over the world, and I've lived places all over the world for travel. It'll inform everything you do. David, Sock, and Lotion. By the way, that will never cease to elicit a chuckle from me. Hey, Campea team. I've been wanting to start a channel for a long time. I'm inching my way towards it, and I'm thinking about doing a commentary type channel. I have the personality, but I guess I'm a little scared. I'm good looking, but I hate my voice. Well, David, Sock, and Lotion, here's what I would say to you, and I think John would say this too. There's nothing better than setting out on your own and creating something that's yours, something that you've made, and that's what a YouTube channel can be. And I will say this, the thing that you bring to the YouTube channel, what is the most important thing when you're doing any kind of something like this? It's you. You're the most important thing. You have to bring your own unique voice. That's why people tune in. People tune in because they'll find you somehow they will identify with you, they will like you, they will want to hear your unique opinions. So perhaps if you think you're good looking but you don't like your voice, maybe that's the combination that will get people to watch you. You don't know. Some people don't even know what their strengths are until they set out and try and do it. And here's the thing. Don't be scared. I'll tell you, you know what the worst thing that can happen to you is if you start your own YouTube channel? Nothing. That's the worst thing. It doesn't work. So then you stop doing it. But if it does take off, you're going to get confidence. You're going to be able to have an audience. You're going to have people that you interact with. You'll make friends. You never know what's going to happen. And I would say try it. Nothing is stopping you from trying it. Figure out how you can make it unique. What is your voice? What do you have to say that's different than, say, well, what a schmuck like me has to say? Probably a lot, truth be told, because I only say, not as much as I probably should. But make it yours and go out and do it. Try it. Just do it. Why wait? I mean, life's short. Every moment that you stop doing it you have less life left to do it. Every tick of the clock, tick, 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 they're waiting for you. We're waiting for you. Get onto YouTube, do it, make it happen, because maybe you'll spend less time with your sock and lotion, if you know what I'm saying. Dr. J says 1 week after James Cameron's shocking attack on Master Ray Ora's in-cinema meditation techniques, the IMDb anticipation score for Avatar 2 plummeted to 79. Is it possible that the Army of Ray could sink this year's biggest film? Well, Dr. J, I think that I'm not the person to speak on this. I think the only person that can speak on this is Mr. Ray Ora himself. Ray, are you responsible for the drop in must-see on Avatar 2, The Way of Water? Did you do it?
Look, to me, that's really nice, but no, I'm not. I think people may have been turned off by what the statements he said. Maybe they thought he was attacking them. Maybe there's a lot of people that don't like long movies. I mean, SNL did a skit on it, right? There's a lot of people who get discomfort from sitting in a theater that long. Bathroom breaks, whatever. I know I'm trying to making this a serious answer, but I'm being serious.
Sounds like you're making excuses to me, Ray. The real thing is the Ray Army responsible? Do you want to take responsibility? Or are you going to say that the Ray Army is...
If I'm going to be leading the army that doesn't like long movies and falls asleep through them, then I'll be that guy. Yes,
all right.
Yes, we did then.
Okay, you've taken on the mantle responsibility. That's a good man, Ray Ora. I knew I could count on you.
I'm still watching it, though, just in 3 parts. No, I'm being serious. 3 parts... I'll get
1 hour at a time.
Mr. Cameron, I respect you. But,
Well, Ray, you know what? You're a good man. You're a stand-up guy. Appreciate that. And I hope that answers everyone's questions out there about the Army of Ray. I didn't know there was an Army of Ray. I think you got to license that out. Don't let just people co-opt your name. Army of Ray. Come on now. Disney Gifts by Bryce says, hey guys, so I love my wife. She's a great lady. She said she really wanted to watch Batman and Robin. So we got dinner, loaded up the movie, and she had the audacity to make me sit through this train wreck and fall asleep. We're getting divorced. Laugh out loud. Well, Disney Gifts by Bryce. I mean, I think it says a lot. I mean, there's a lot of wacky stuff that happens in marriages these days, and I think watching Batman and Robin together might be one of the wackiest I've heard of in a long time, but I'm glad you both got through it together. I mean, come on. Don't be writing into shows like this saying you want to get divorced. Just take a deep breath and realize that after Batman and Robin, there was a few years that went by and we got Christian Bale and Batman Begins. So for every darkness, there will be a dawn. And I think your marriage can survive it and get through it. But shout out to your wife. And who knows what happens in the future, but it seems like you gotta step up and make sure that your marriage can survive Batman and Robin. And if you can do that, you can do anything. Tristan, I can't even speak. Tristan Thorpe says, I'm currently watching the last season of DC's Legends of Tomorrow. I've always loved this show because it's mainly fun and campy with a sprinkle of drama. I'm just amazed that they got as many seasons as it did. I'm okay. if they won't do a series finale. Well, Tristan Thorpe, I think, I always liked that show. It's goofy. It's the antithesis of everything I want out of my fantasy and science fiction. But I like the cast a lot. I mean, come on, Brandon Routh got made a regular. I like the show, and I feel like you do. I like it. Got how many seasons did it get? 5 or something? I can't believe it went on as long as it did. And you're right. If it doesn't get a series finale or whatever, it's still a great show. Remember, we live in a world where shows got series finales. Not a lot of shows. I mean, not all shows were MASH or Star Trek: The Next Generation. Some shows never got finales. They were just canceled. So that was par for the course most of the time. So, we have to be happy with what we have and just dream about what could have been. So I'm glad you liked the show, though, because I liked it too. I thought it was good. Tough Gun says, maybe there's a universe out there where Pete Maverick Mitchell crossed paths with Carol Danvers in the Air Force. I'd watch that crossover. Tough Gun, not only would I watch it, now I want it. Now I want Carol Danvers and Pete Mitchell. I mean, you know what? If they make Top Gun 3, maybe have a young Carol Danvers, or I guess she wouldn't be young anymore because it would have been the 90s. They're probably the same age. Just have Brie Larson come in as Carol Danvers, and like they were exes. Now you've just put it in my mind that I want to believe that Pete Mitchell and Carol Danvers used to date. They used to date. What do you mean, no?
He's only dating me.
Oh, well, okay. All right. But back in the day, like in the 90s, dude.
Okay.
Back in the 90s. Because remember, that would have been 10 years after Top Gun. But I like that. I like the idea that you shipped Carol Danvers and Pete Mitchell. I'm there for it. I am there for it. So, and maybe Pete Mitchell, once she was absconded with by aliens, she broke Pete's heart. You never know. Not a bad idea, Tough Gun. Calvin Roy Bowles says, did you see the Munsters going direct to Blu-ray trailer? Or you mean direct to Netflix? I can't believe this masterpiece will not be seen in IMAX. I thought this would be the next Gone with the Wind. Laugh out loud. Well, Calvin, you know what? I don't know what to say. I mean, I looked at that trailer and I too thought IMAX. That was the first thing that came to mind. I mean, Munsters and IMAX. I mean, maybe that was the point. They thought it was going to go to IMAX, and they counted on that extra horrifying nature of seeing those images that big. Man, that show just, I don't know, man, but, I feel your pain that you won't get to see the Munsters in IMAX. And I don't think it's ever going to make it to physical media, not if it's going on to Netflix, which maybe we're dodging a bullet there. I don't know what happened with that show. We'll see. I mean, maybe it was trolling us. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know why it was made. I don't know what Rob Zombie was thinking. But you know what? I won't judge it until I've seen it, and you can bet your bottom dollar that I will. I'm going to watch it as soon as it's available because I need to understand. I need to know, and I don't right now. It's a mystery. Home Slice says, did you see that Rob Zombie posted that the budget for the Munsters wasn't anywhere near the $40 million, as he puts it, people are rumoring it to be? Well, I didn't see that, but I can believe it because it looked like it cost 40 cents, and the community theater in your local town did it, and they used everything on hand at the time. No, I shouldn't say that. Look, they shot this in Sofia, Bulgaria, where I've actually been and made a movie, and the crews there are great, and everybody's great, and I've heard they actually built the entirety of Mockingbird Lane. So I'm really hoping that we see that the show turns out to be something different than that trailer shows us. Hope springs eternal. Again, I don't think you should judge anything definitively until you've seen it. At least I wouldn't. Although that's hard. I mean, it's tough. It's going to be tough to watch that. I think it's going to be tough to probably get through it all too. Maybe it's short. Maybe it'll be like Ray wants it, like 63 minutes and we're done. Or maybe not. But anyway, what can I say? I hope the Munsters is good. I don't think it's going to be, but I want to wait until I've seen it to judge it. And that, my friends, is the end of today's Mailbag Moon Landing Day for this Wednesday, July 20th, 2022. I want to thank everybody for sending in tips and questions and comments. That's very generous. You support the channel and you give me things to mouth off about on camera, which of course feeds my ego, and I thank you for that. And I love this. I love the community here at the Mailbag, and I want to also, on a personal note, thank you to everyone who said they've liked me doing these mailbags, because I've had a lot of fun. Although I do dream of a day when I'll have Ray Ora right next to me, and he and I will be doing mailbags together, just like Hope and Crosby used to go on road pictures 60 or 70 years ago. But until then, remember, tune into the John Campea Show every weekday, and if you want to send us questions live on the air, you can do so using the super chat feature, or if you're too scared or you just don't want to, you can still send us questions on the Mailbag at that link below, 24/7, 7 days a week. Our army of operators are standing by. I'm Robert Meyer Burnett. You can find me on Instagram at Robert Meyer or RM Burnett. Find me on Twitter at Burnett RM, or find me at Post Geek Singularity as a website, postgeeksingularity.com, or on YouTube. And with that, I say to all of you, have a better day.